observe, imitate, modify. The rainy season is an excuse to stop gardening. In fact, it's a time to pivot our thinking, explore ideas, and create solutions that thrive on convenience. At the Crafted Nest channel, we believe that true creativity is born from limitations. From leftover mineral water gallons, used food containers, to old roof tiles and coconut shells, everything can be transformed into a beautiful, healthy, and environmentally friendly bok choy garden. In this video, we present 20 inspiring bok choy gardens that you can create yourself at home. We've designed each idea to be implemented with readily available materials, suitable for beginners, and able to withstand the challenges of the rainy season, such as flooding, pests, and low sunlight. We've crafted our narrative with a calm, warm, and vibrant spirit, so you'll find not only ideas, but also the peace and inspiration to get started. Don't forget to subscribe to the Crafted Nest channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on other creative ideas you can create from home. Let's plant, care, and grow together, because from simple hands, an extraordinary garden can be born. In a quiet backyard tucked behind an ordinary village house, rows of used water gallons stand proudly like guardians of green hope, once holding clean drinking water. These plastic barrels now cradle life, each split open neatly across its belly, filled with a humble mix of soil and burnt rice husks. It began with an observation. Rain poured endlessly during the monsoon, soaking every inch of open ground. Seeds drowned before sprouting, but rather than giving up, the idea to lift the earth itself into containers was born. If the ground fails us, why not raise it up? The gallons were cut, cleaned, and punctured at the bottom to allow rainwater to escape gently. Filled with local soil, no fertilizer yet, only patience. Pakcoy seedlings were tucked into their soft beds. Each day, a clear drizzle blessed them, but too much water meant disease. So a DIY canopy made of leftover clear plastic was added above, filtering the rain and letting just enough through. The beauty lies not just in the greenery that now dances in morning mist. It lies in the transformation of waste into purpose, of limitations into invitations, from unused gallons to rain-proof gardens. This method is perfect for those without raised beds, those with flooding soil, or simply those with an eye for upcycling. Begin with 3 gallons, cut them sideways, poke small drainage holes, and fill them with a well-draining mix. You don't need a big space, just heart, some string to tie the canopy, and patience. Let nature pour, let your gallons bloom. Sometimes, the best beginnings sprout from the smallest containers. In a world overflowing with plastic, what if that waste became a nursery of life? This is the story of a rainy season and a handful of old soda bottles, once tossed aside after a picnic. Now they hang with purpose, their bodies cut open like small green cradles, filled with soft, earthy warmth. Now home to baby Pakcoy, fragile yet determined. It started on a cloudy morning. The garden was too wet, the soil too heavy, puddles forming where dreams once grew. But then an idea surfaced to plant above the mud. Bottles were collected, cleaned, and cut, bottoms snipped off, caps pierced for slow drainage. Some were tied with jute string and hung under the eaves. Others rested on bricks, lined like sleeping chicks in a box. Inside each bottle, 2 or 3 seeds were planted gently. A blend of topsoil and burned rice husk gave them breath. And every few days, a tender misting from a reused spray bottle. The rhythm of care began. As days passed, the seedlings reached toward the muted sky. Their leaves shimmered with rain, safe from drowning yet touched by its blessing. This is no grand design, no expert setup, just a quiet gesture toward sustainability. Anyone can do this. Find a few plastic bottles, soft drink or mineral water. Cut them horizontally or vertically. Add drainage holes. Fill with growing medium and place where rain can kiss but not drown. Within weeks, your balcony or wall will whisper green. Let the bottles tell a new story, not of waste, but of rebirth. The earth speaks gently during the rainy season. It tells us to lift, to elevate, to protect what we grow. In one humble village, the answer came not from the market, but from the bamboo grove behind the house. The ground had turned to soup. Roots suffocated. Seeds vanished beneath puddles. Yet, just a few meters away, tall bamboo stalks swayed in rhythm with the wind. Quiet, abundant, and waiting. It felt natural, almost poetic, to raise life using life. Crafting a raised bed from bamboo isn't complex. First, the canes are cut, aged but not brittle, each one a hollow vessel of strength, split carefully and tied together with rope or dry banana fiber. They form walls strong enough to cradle soil. Stones or bricks placed underneath lifted slightly off the ground, allowing water to drain and air to circulate. Inside the frame, the soil feels protected, the structure offering shelter without enclosure. Pakcoy grows here with confidence. Its roots no longer waterlogged, its leaves unblemished by splashback from muddy rain. The bamboo breathes with the seasons. It creaks softly as it settles. It holds not just a garden, but intention. This is more than container. It's a statement of respect toward nature. Reusable, breathable, and kind to the earth. You don't need polished lumber or expensive tools. With a machete, some string in your hands, you can lift a garden from the mud. And when you walk by after the storm, seeing green life rise from a woven frame of bamboo, you'll know the rain can nourish, not ruin. The leaves spoke first. Tiny bites at the edges, a lacework of holes that appeared overnight. The culprit? Leaf-eating insects drawn by the sweetness of rain-fed Pakcoy. But this story isn't about chemical war. It's about listening to nature and responding with quiet ingenuity. There's an elegance in traps made by hand. In a garden just beyond the kitchen, a bottle once filled with mineral water now hangs beside the leafy beds. Its cap is pierced, its body pierced with small holes. Inside, a mixture of overripe banana, sugar water, and a drop of vinegar ferments gently, exhaling a scent no pest can resist. Nearby, shallow bowls of old papaya juice rest on the soil. Their golden hue catches the morning light and the attention of tiny flies. Once inside, the insects cannot escape. No poison, no noise, just the simplicity of attraction and containment. The gardener didn't spend money. Instead, she walked through her house, collecting scraps, bottles, bowls, leftovers. She listened to old advice from neighbors, blended with what she learned online, and adapted it to her rainy, lush corner of the world. This approach is gentle yet effective. It doesn't harm the plant or the soil. It simply diverts attention with scent, color, and design. The rain might bring pests, but also brings wisdom. Nature solves her own problems. If we pay attention, try making one. Slice a plastic bottle, add mashed fruit, sugar, and water. Hang it beside your greens. Or leave a colorful liquid in a tray. Let the air do the rest. Your Pakcoy will thank you in perfect, untouched leaves. When the garden below turns to mud, look up. That's how the idea was born, out of necessity and imagination. A single cement wall, once blank and mossy, now breathes green life. On it hang wooden planks, supported by humble brackets, and on them, rows of Pakcoy growing skyward. The rainy season brings generosity and moisture, but not always in space, especially in narrow alleys or compact homes. Every drop of sunlight must be caught. So the solution rose, literally, a hanging shelf made from leftover wood, mounted with reused iron brackets found at a local repair shop, measured not by perfection, but by balance and intent. Each shelf holds recycled containers, cut gallon bottles, ceramic mugs, anything deep enough for a root to explore. A thin layer of gravel at the base for drainage, topped with a breathable soil blend. Pakcoy loves it here, lifted away from rot and shadow. This design isn't just functional, it's poetic. The rainwater drips off leaves onto the shelf below. Bees and butterflies come closer, curious. And you, the gardener, need not bend your knees to check your greens. Everything is at heart level. The best part? It invites creation. Anyone with a drill and a few planks can build it. Mount the brackets, lay the shelf, secure it tightly. Let each layer bloom with leaves that shine even on overcast days. The wall once ignored becomes alive. Pakcoy, suspended in air, dances softly in the mist. In this floating garden, the rain is not a threat, but a blessing that travels down shelf by shelf. In a corner of the garden, where tools are few and the soil still smells like yesterday's rain, sits a humble invention, a homemade sprayer, born from curiosity and care. It's nothing grand, just a clear plastic bottle, the kind used for mineral water. Its lid pierced, fitted with a manual spray nozzle, rescued from an old cleaning bottle. A few drops of garlic extract, chili water, and a hint of liquid, soap mix inside like a secret potion passed down through generations. This is how we protect our Pakcoy, gently. No harsh chemicals, just ingredients from the kitchen, transformed into shield and armor. In the rainy season, when pests arrive in flocks, chewing through young leaves with unseen hunger, this simple tool becomes a daily ritual. Every misted spray is an act of defense and devotion. The droplets cling to the underside of each leaf like morning dew, invisible to the eye of predators. The chili repels. The garlic confuses. The soap binds it all gently to the plant, lasting just long enough before the next rain washes it clean. There's satisfaction in building your own tools. It doesn't cost more than your time, your attention. You'll need a bottle, a funnel, a nozzle, perhaps from a broken sprayer or thrift store, and a willingness to test and refine. Once assembled, it becomes part of your garden's rhythm. Spray in the early morning or the soft dusk, never in harsh sunlight. Listen to your plants. They'll show you what works. And in time, this bottle will stain, the labels will fade, but your Pakcoy will flourish, quietly telling you, this is enough. There's a quiet revolution happening behind old homes and under leaky roofs. It begins with an empty bucket, once filled with paint, now stripped of color and purpose. But here it finds new life, not as trash, but as a vessel for transformation. The gardener walks slowly, carrying a bowl of scraps, vegetable peels, wilted leaves, crushed eggshells. She lifts the lid of a pale blue paint bucket, its surface flaked with stories. Inside, a bed of straw and soil breathes gently, waiting to digest. A few holes near the bottom allow air to dance in. Each layer is placed with intention. Green waste, then brown, then a sprinkle of water. A wooden stick stirs like a quiet cauldron. Time does the rest. This DIY compost bin is as humble as it is powerful. No need for expensive tumblers or sprawling bins. Just a used paint container, a drill, and a little patience. Over weeks, the scent of waste fades into the earthy aroma of renewal. Dark, crumbly compost forms, alive with a memory of rain, rice, banana peels, and love. Pakcoy thrives on this homegrown gold. Its roots sink into soil enriched not by money, but by mindfulness. And every time you sprinkle your garden with this compost, you're returning something, giving back to the cycle. If you have a paint bucket, don't throw it away. Drill holes on the sides for air, one at the bottom for excess moisture. Add layers of greens and browns, and keep the lid slightly loose. Stir every few days. Watch the magic. This is how the garden sings softly, even in the rain, because everything, even waste, has a purpose here. The rains came early that year, steady and generous. But generosity turned into overflow. Beds drowned, seedlings washed away. For a while, the gardener paused, heart heavy, watching the water pool where Pakcoy once stood. Then she remembered the pile of unused wood pallets stacked under the porch, weathered, chipped, but strong. What if the solution wasn't to fight the flood, but to rise above it? With a hammer, nails, and quiet determination, she dismantled the pallets, choosing planks that still had life. She built frames like open chests, deep enough to cradle earth, wide enough to host a row of Pakcoy. The base was lifted with bricks or thick logs, keeping roots away from the soaked ground. Inside, a lining of thick plastic prevented water from seeping out too fast, while the top remained open to breathe. The soil she used was mixed with sand and husks, light, airy, ready to drain. As rain fell again, the boxes stood firm like islands. The water pooled below, but never touched the roots. Pakcoy grew tall, through collecting on their leaves, untouched by the flooding chaos below. This design is not just practical, it's an act of adaptation. Anyone can build it with discarded wood and patience. A drill, some screws, and a vision are all you need. When the storms come, you'll smile, not because you've beaten nature, but because you dance with it. The flood may rise, but so will your garden. Rain has rhythm, but sometimes it drums too hard, too long. When seedlings collapse under its weight, and soil turns to a soggy sponge, the garden whispers for shelter. That's how the tunnel was born, not concrete and glass, but of kindness and curve. Bent PVC pipes form its frame, soft arcs like ribs of a whale, planted deep in the soil on either side of a narrow bed. Over them, a sheet of clear plastic stretches like skin. At sunrise, it glows golden. At dusk, it traps warmth like an embrace. Inside this modest dome, Pakcoy grows quietly, away from pelting raindrops and wind that tears. The tunnel does not seal off the world. It filters it. It lets in light, holds in warmth, yet lifts high enough for breath to circulate. The rain still falls, but softly now, caught by the plastic, trickling down the sides, never bruising a leaf. Building one takes no more than a few hours. PVC, wire or bamboo, transparent plastic, and a few clamps or rocks to weigh it down. No need for perfection, just a willingness to protect what matters. Within days, the difference is visible. No more yellowing from overwatering. No more shredded leaves. Just a steady rise of green, grateful for shelter, reaching toward the light. This tunnel doesn't shout its importance. It simply stands there, arching like a blessing, cradling your plants through storm and silence. In this dome of simplicity, the Pakcoy sings a lullaby of resilience. Sometimes, the best solutions are hidden in the kitchen cupboard. Forgotten lids, stained containers, leftovers from a lunch long gone. Yet here in the heart of rainy season, these humble Tupperware boxes find a second life as quiet guardians of Pakcoy. The rain may fall too heavy, or the days too busy, but this design watches over itself. It drinks only when thirsty. A self-watering pot, built from what most would throw away. Take two containers. One fits snugly into the other. The lower one holds water, like a reservoir in waiting. The upper one, pierced with holes, holds the soil and the seed. And between them, a length of cotton rope, threading to the gap like a vein, drawing moisture up gently. Just enough. It's a system that mimics nature's balance. No flooding, no drying out. Even if you forget a day or the rain skips a beat, your Pakcoy remains calm, sipping slowly from below. There's beauty in this simplicity. No gadgets, no pumps, just gravity, capillary action, and a clever bit of string. Place it on a windowsill or a sheltered balcony. The clear container lets you see the water level, a quiet reminder to refill, like checking your own breath. This is perfect for those who love to grow but forget to water, for those living in small homes, for children learning about roots and care. Build it with what you have: a container, a rope, some earth, one Pakcoy seed. Watch how it grows, steady and serene, like a lesson in how we, too, can care without overwhelm. Some mornings arrive quietly, dressed in silver fog and cool silence. The kind of mornings where seedlings shiver just a little, where damp air kisses the soil too long. On days like this, even the gentlest Pakcoy needs shelter, not from violence, but from too much love in the air. So came the dome, not factory-made, not bought, just an upside-down food container, once filled with leftovers and memories, now clear, empty, and full of purpose. Each container becomes a gentle greenhouse, trapping warmth from the earth and keeping away the sharp bite of early rain or fog. Inside, droplets form and drip slowly, feeding the air around the tender leaves. The Pakcoy feels hugged, not sealed. There is breath, space, softness. To build it is simple. Take any clear food lid, those used for cakes, rice, or noodles. Rinse it clean, pierce a few small holes on top for air. Place it gently over each young seedling in the evening before the fog rolls in. At sunrise, your garden will glisten, not just with moisture, but with care. This method works best in the early stages, when the green is still fragile, when pests lurk low, and the sky changes her mind often. You don't need a greenhouse. You only need your kitchen scraps and a thoughtful hand. And in time, you'll walk into your garden and see rows of glowing domes, like tiny planets sheltering life, each one whispering back, "Thank you," in every new leaf. This is how protection begins. Not with walls, but with lids turned into lanterns of growth. It began with the need for stillness, a place to sit, to breathe after digging through damp earth. A bench, perhaps, but why let it rest alone when it, too, could bloom? So the gardener took a forgotten wooden bench, worn smooth by time, and carved a cradle in its center, a rectangle, just wide enough for soil, just deep enough for roots. And in it, she planted Pakcoy. Now, every morning after rain, she sits not just with a view of her garden, but among it. The leaves rise beside her knees, glistening with dew. Their scent mingles with the smell of earth and cedar. This is more than furniture. It is a meeting place for calm and growth. The design is beautifully simple. Take a sturdy bench, perhaps old, perhaps homemade. Mark the middle, cut out a tray-size section. Line it with plastic or with slats, then fill it with rich, draining soil. Pakcoy love the setting, raised secure near your warmth and voice. You can sit and water, sit and watch, even speak to the leaves if you wish. The duality is poetic, rest and cultivation in one space. A reminder that tending your plants also means tending yourself, that you deserve a pause as much as they deserve your care. This idea is perfect for patios, balconies, or even shaded porches. It brings your garden closer, into your daily rhythm, into your moments of tea and thought. And when the rains come, you'll have a place to sit and listen to their melody. Your Pakcoy thriving beside you, silent companions in the stillness. In a small alley where space narrows and sunshine slips in only between roofs, a garden still grows, rising layer by layer, like a song reaching upward. This is a stacked vertical garden, fed by time, by care, and by water that flows slow and steady. Built from discarded crates and reused containers, each level holds Pakcoy with roots nestled in shallow beds. Above them, a single plastic tube, pierced like a gentle rain cloud, drips water from the top, feeding every tray below. Gravity becomes the gardener's quiet partner. It all began with one plank would lean against the wall, a few nails and imagination. The gardener didn't have land. Only a wall kissed by 2 hours of sunlight a day. That was enough. Each tier was spaced with breathing room, angle for light, and filled with a mix of compost and husk. At the very top, an inverted bottle slowly leaks water through holes. No pump, no pressure, just a slow pull of the earth. Pakcoy loves this setting. Its roots stay moist, but never drowned. Its leaves reach outward, not upward, forming a green tapestry against concrete. You can build this anywhere, on a wall, a balcony, a fence. Use old racks, stacked drawers, or even bamboo tiers. Add a gravity-fed drip by poking small holes into a hanging bottle or hose, and let time do its quiet work. In just weeks, your wall will speak in green. And when you stand before it, misting softly or harvesting for lunch, you'll feel it, the joy of growth, flowing from top to root, drop by drop. Behind every healthy leaf lies a quiet ritual. The mixing, the measuring, the moment before the first gentle spray. But where do these bottles live? Where do the garlic brews and chili infusions rest between their acts of protection? In this garden, they live in crates. The gardener found them behind a local warren. Worn wooden boxes once filled with oranges and onions. She stacked them with care, wiped them clean, and gave them purpose again. Now, they hold small bottles, glass jars, funnels, and handwritten labels smudged by rainy fingers. This rack stands under a tin awning, protected yet reachable. Its scent is unmistakable, sharp with vinegar, sweet with neem, earthy with the dried herbs tucked in old tea tins. Each shelf tells a story of defense through simplicity. This isn't about building a shed or buying fancy storage. It's about placing your process, creating a corner where intention lives, where, even on a drizzly morning, you can reach for your trusted mix without fumbling in clutter. You can make one easily. Find 2 or 3 old crates, plastic or wood, stack them vertically. Add a plank or tile on top to shield from the rain. Organize by use. Sprayers on one level, raw ingredients on another, your favorite gloves tucked beside a spoon used only for stirring. Over time, this humble rack becomes more than storage. It becomes memory, habit, preparation. And when the pests return, as they always do, you'll be ready, not rushed. Because gardening isn't just what you plant, it's what you prepare for. Sometimes the rain comes and never leaves. The ground stays soaked, the air thick with moisture, and the garden becomes a mirror of the sky. For many, it's a pause, a surrender to water. But for the wise grower, it becomes a challenge to rise above. So she built it, a floating bed, crafted from leftover bamboo poles, tied like a raft, with styrofoam slabs underneath to hold it steady on the flood's breath. On top, a wooden frame filled with soil and husk, light, breathable, and firm. And into this cradle she planted Pakcoy. Each platform floats like a leaf upon the water, tethered by string, guided gently by the wind. The roots never drown. The stems never sag. They dance slightly with every ripple, as if enjoying the rain's embrace without letting it claim them. This method is both old and new. It echoes the ways of wetland farmers, adapted with what's available. Plastic drums and used buckets, fishing net bases, or even old crates strapped to foam. As long as it floats and breathes, it works. Building one is a weekend task. Designing your own island of food, perfect for those in flood-prone areas, low-lying gardens, or anyone who wants to experiment with resilience. Add a top net for pests. Anchor the raft to a stick. Let the rest be managed by the water's wisdom. In time, you'll find yourself not avoiding the flood, but gardening upon it. Watching Pakcoy bloom where mud once ruled. Letting nature carry your crops, literally. Because when we float, we don't escape, we adapt. There is power in the kitchen, aromas that soothe the soul, and, as it turns out, protect the garden. Garlic, ginger, lemongrass, chili, lime, the very things that spice our meals also guard our leaves. In the rainy season, when pests arrive in shadows and silence, the gardener turns not to chemicals, but to memory. She remembers her grandmother's brew, a mixture of crushed shallots, fermented with lime peel and warm water. It stung the nose, but the plants loved it. So she built a small station, nothing more than a table beneath a guava tree. Upon it, jars filled with infusions, straining cloths, worn knives, and spray bottles once meant for glass cleaner. Each bottle labeled with soft ink, Bawang Mix, Jaruk Kapoor, K Bawang. Every few days, she comes here like a healer to her apothecary. She stirs, she strains, she tests on a few leaves. She knows the mix must not burn, just repel. The air around this corner smells of earth and remedy, a place where wisdom rests in jars. You can create this too. Designate a corner in your garden or porch. Gather herbs you use in your kitchen, things with strong scents and natural antibacterial oils. Infuse them in water or vinegar for a few days. Strain and spray in the early morning or before dusk. This station isn't just about protection. It's about connection to the old ways, to what the land already offers, to the idea that you don't need to buy strength, you can brew it. And as the Pakcoy stands tall and unbitten, you'll know the hands that cook can also heal. Before the leaves reach skyward, before roots dig deep, there's a moment of birth. Quiet, delicate, full of waiting. In this story, it begins inside an egg carton, soft and porous. The cardboard cells cradle a handful of moist soil, just enough to wrap around a Pakcoy seed like a whisper. Above, a layer of plastic wrap, stretched like a thin sky, traps warmth and moisture, becoming a miniature world where life begins. The gardener crafted this on a rainy afternoon. The garden was too wet, too wild, but she didn't want to wait. So she gathered what she had: an egg carton, a few teaspoons of compost, a sheet of used cling film. She planted carefully, one seed per pocket, and sealed the top like a greenhouse in miniature. The next days were filled with wonder. Drops formed inside the plastic roof like tiny stars. The seeds stirred quietly beneath, responding to warmth and humidity. And then one morning, they cracked open, reaching upward. This seedling kit is perfect for those with no land, no trays, no tools. It teaches patience and how to grow what you have. To make one, simply take an egg carton, cardboard works best. Fill each pocket with loose soil, moisten it, plant your seeds, then cover the whole thing with clear plastic. Keep it warm near a window and mist gently. You don't need a nursery, just a box where life once lived, now giving birth to more. And when the sprouts are ready and you peel back the wrap, you'll see more than green. You'll see possibility. The garden isn't just about what grows. It's about how it's held. And in this story, the walls aren't built from cement, but from time-worn clay tiles once used to shelter a home. They now stand tall along the edge of a Pakcoy bed, sunk halfway into the soil, lining the earth with their quiet orange-red dignity. Each tile bears marks of age, cracks, stains, and lichen, but when placed side by side, they create order from earth. They hold the soil like an embrace, protect it from runoff, and add character that plastic borders never could. The gardener found them behind an old shed, remnants of a broken roof. Instead of throwing them away, she pushed their bases into the soil, creating paths between planting rows and framing each garden bed. Now her Pakcoy thrives in neat rectangles, anchored, defined, safe from erosion. Rain flows between the lines, not across them. The tiles absorb warmth and release it slowly through the night. And as moss grows between their curves, the garden takes on the feel of a space aged by care and story. To create this, you don't need many tools, just your hands, a bit of imagination, and old clay tiles. Even broken ones can fit, their imperfections adding charm. Press them in while the soil is soft. Space them close, or leave gaps for air. Let them guide your bed shape. In the end, it's not just a divider, It's a frame elevating the life it surrounds. And when your Pakcoy stands bright and full against that backdrop of fired earth, you'll see it. Beauty doesn't need to be new. It only needs to be placed with purpose. Nature leaves no waste, only materials waiting for new purpose. In this garden, the humble coconut, once split for water and flesh, returns to cradle life in a new way. Its husk, fibrous and strong, becomes a vessel of growth, a hydroponic cradle for Pakcoy. It started beside a roadside stall where coconuts were sold and discarded. The gardener gathered the husks, rough, sun-dried, stained with earth. She carved out soft hollows, cleaned the inside, and gently planted Pakcoy seeds into their coarse bedding. No soil, no pots, just fiber, water, and breath. She suspended them on bamboo poles above shallow basins filled with nutrient solution. Tiny roots soon reached downward, searching and finding. They dangled like silk threads, drawing quiet nourishment from the liquid below. The husks held firm, airy and light, never suffocating, never rotting. The method is deeply poetic, earth returning to earth. It is affordable, sustainable, and stunningly beautiful. The natural texture of coconut contrasts with the crisp green of Pakcoy, creating a visual harmony that feels ancient yet fresh. To try it yourself, collect dry coconut husks. Halve them, rinse clean, and hollow the center slightly. Line them with a touch of cocoa peat or leaf mold. Then place the seeds. Set them above a container of hydroponic water, or hang them where roots can reach into moisture. Watch life dangle and stretch, growing without soil. Rain falls. The husks darken, swell with story. The Pakcoy rises. And you, standing beneath this canopy of recycled grace, will know nothing is ever wasted when you garden with heart. In some corners of the world, the sun plays hide and seek, emerging briefly between roofs, trees, and clouds. For gardens tucked in shaded yards, that light is precious. So why not chase it? This is the story of a frame on wheels, built with reclaimed wood and an old cart base. It cradles a narrow planter box filled with Pakcoy. Each morning, the gardener gently pushes it toward the sliver of light creeping across the yard. By afternoon, it's rolled again, tracking the sun like a sunflower made by hand. The idea began with frustration. Too much shade, too little yield. But rather than cut down trees or rearrange everything, she built mobility, a way for plants to find their own sunlight. The design is simple, a wooden rectangle with handles and recycled wheels underneath, perhaps from an old stroller or trolley. The top holds a raised bed or series of containers. You could even use crates or plastic tubs. What matters most is movement. Every day becomes a ritual, watching the path of light, sensing its warmth, and aligning the frame just right. The Pakcoy responds in kind, its leaves opening wide, soaking in every gift from above. Even in limited light, growth becomes possible again. This frame is perfect for urban spaces, small patios, or temporary spots. It's an invitation to work with the sun, not against its rhythm. And when rain clouds linger, the wheels still let you tuck your garden under cover, safe, dry, and waiting. You don't need acres, just awareness and something that rolls. In this dance of the sun, your garden learns to move and you to adapt. I hope this collection of narratives sparks some inspiration for your Pakcoy gardening. Is there anything else I can help you with today?